Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a mental health video. I asked over on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me, please click the link in the description box below. I asked over on my Instagram on my story to say, what would you guys like to see for my next upload? I have been doing a lot more kind of vlogs and just random content recently. So you all voted for a mental health video and here we go. So this video is going to be 5 things that I wish I had known when I was recovering. So the first thing I wish I knew whilst I was recovering from mental health is that there's no rush. You need to recover at your own pace and you need to recover how you want to recover. So don't feel like you need to compare yourself to anybody or you need to be, I don't know, at the same pace as somebody with the same condition as you, because it's not a race. That brings me on to my next point, which is don't compare yourself to others, and that kind of comes in terms of your recovery but also your illness. I found that when I was first diagnosed with mental health conditions, I and other people were comparing our symptoms and our traumas and our experiences and everything against each other, when what I have learned is that it's important to recognise that your trauma or your experiences have affected you the way they've affected you, and if it doesn't affect somebody else with a similar experience in the same way, then don't worry, because we're each built differently and we're built to respond to different situations in different ways. The third thing I wish I knew whilst I was recovering from mental health was that good things take time. So growing up as a kid, I never really had friends, and if I did have friends, they didn't really last very long, and I was bullied quite heavily throughout all my school years, and I really didn't get a lot of social interactions because I'd have it when I come to school and then I would isolate when I came home. So it kind of like just led to a bit of a like, who's my friend, who's going to be my friend. But I found out that recovering from my mental health, that the people who are genuine and kind and want to be in there in your life, they'll be there. You know, I saw Saskia last week, or probably 2 weeks ago when you're seeing this, but I saw Saskia recently and I haven't seen her in 10 months, but it was like we hadn't even been apart, and I just love that about our friendship. There is also some other people who I just haven't seen very much, partly because of the pandemic, but also partly just because we all lead busy lives, and I don't know what I would do without them, to be honest. They are my rock, and I honestly think that I met them at the right time and I've met the right people. I think that different people come into your life at different times, and some of them will stay and some of them will be like the friends for life and stuff like that. But some of them will just be friends who kind of come in, they give you something or you take something from them and then that's it. You don't see them again in your life, or you have a falling out or something like that. But each of those experiences teaches you something. So each of those experiences is important to have, but just remember that good things will take time. So the fourth thing I wish I knew whilst I was recovering from mental health is that your dreams can change over time. So as a little kid, I wanted to be a midwife, and I can't believe I'm saying this now, but I did want to be a midwife because this career that I'm trying to absorb myself into is something completely different to midwifery. So I wanted to be a midwife when I was about 10 years old, something like that, and I basically just grew up, and slowly that changed and slowly I evolved into somebody different. And my experiences have shaped and changed me, but that's okay. That's okay to want to be one thing one day and another thing the next. But when I say I wanted to be a midwife, it wasn't something like, I know a lot of little kids, they walk around and say, I want to be a firefighter, and the next day you ask them, I want to be a garbage man, or, you know, the next day it'll be, I want to be a doctor. My love of being a midwife and wanting to be a midwife was for a good, like, 5 years. So it was almost set that I was going to be that. But just because I had a dream and I wanted to do that for 5 years of my life doesn't mean that I would have to do that for my life. My dreams can change and my experiences and everything just shapes you into the person that you are today. And so the fifth and final thing I wish I knew whilst I was recovering from mental health is that do what makes you happy. So don't be afraid to wear that dress because you think it's pretty, even if others say to you, oh, well, that's not the colour that's in this season, or, you know, you'd suit a dress that's longer. You know, if you like a dress that comes to, you know, to your knees, or that comes above your knees, or that's pink, whereas your friends think, oh, it's fall, that you should be wearing an autumn themed dress. Wear what makes you happy, and that reflects in all aspects of your life. So, for example, you may want to do something with your life, like you may want to go to college, or you may not want to go to college, and people in your life, for example, your parents or your siblings or your friends, might be trying to sway you to make a decision that's not truly you. You make that decision for yourself. Yes, allow others around you to advise you and to help you come up with the best decision that's for you. But at the end of the day, your life is your life. I will give an example. So when I was younger, I did some driving lessons and I did actually get my provisional license. So here in the UK, you can apply for a provisional licence when you're 16, I think it is, and then you can start taking lessons from the age of 17. Because I didn't apply for it when I was 17, I think I got a provisional licence when I was either 19 or 20. From then on, I basically wasn't really, you know, I didn't see the need to drive. So I was living at home and I had parents that drove. So it was a case of like, well, you drive, so why do I need to? And part of me was like, I'm really anxious about wanting to drive and I don't want to drive right now. But when I spoke to my mum and dad, I kind of almost let them persuade me to try and drive. And I'm really grateful that they did persuade me to try and drive, because that gave me the experience and the knowledge that I have today in terms of, you know, the basics of driving and stuff. But quite honestly, it wasn't a necessity at the time. And I also think that if I'd been in a better frame of mind, it would have been the right time. But I just think at that time, I wasn't ready to do something as big as that. And now that I'm ready to do it, I actually sent off my medical forms to the DVLA the other day, and I'm looking forward to going to do lessons. But I'm grateful that I had that experience when I was younger, because ultimately I think that knowing the basics of driving is going to help me this time around, and then I can hopefully pass my driving licence and get my first car, and I'm excited to do those sorts of things. Like, I'm ready for it now. I will just reiterate the fact that please get advice from others. Don't just go against like your friends and family just because I've said, oh, it's your life is your life. Let them kind of talk to you and let them kind of like have their say in things. But ultimately what I'm trying to say is, once you have got all those bits of advice, and once you've been able to weigh up the pros and cons, then you need to decide for yourself. Once you've been able to get their advice and you've been able to weigh up the pros and cons, you need to decide for yourself what you think is best for you by looking at all the advice and all the pros and cons to the situation. That is the only way that you can really truly make a decision for yourself. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button. It means so much to me, and I really enjoy making this content, so I cannot wait to be able to do this as a full-time job. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video.